guys, what's going on? It is Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. I'm joined by KingTurk, who's been #1 all week. Just fell #5. We're gonna try to get that back live before we get into the deck breakdown portion of the video. So let's go ahead and jump in. All right, guys, inside our first live match of this video, and KingTurk plays this 3.0 bait deck incredibly aggressively, especially with the Fire Spirits. It's gonna be one of your most important bait cards in this deck, Fire Spirits at the bridge. So pay attention to that. That's how he starts out this match as well. He loves starting out with those Fire Spirits at the bridge. Fire Spirits, one of the most underrated cards in the game. In Prince Goblin Barrel, just like you see right here, and oh my god, are you serious? That was easy. Okay, video's done. There it is. They missed. Okay, so he is the king of juke goblin barrels. Like, whenever you send in Prince with this deck, you're going to be sending in the juke goblin barrel as well. And oftentimes he will put that goblin barrel like way like out of the arena, almost like in the very back corner. What that does is it forces the opponent to delay on their barbarian barrel or their log, so they can't push the Prince back or stop the Prince's charge with that barbarian without missing the goblin barrel. And that is really the crux of the Prince goblin barrel synergy behind this deck. And just like that, I mean, KingTurk flashing some mad faces. Bring back the old king emotes. But okay, before we get too much sidetracked here, and we're gonna see some amazing gameplay today, guys. It's a kind of a half and halfer, or maybe a one quarter, 3/4 video where we do a live match. But then we have some awesome replays against Vulcan, against Bag, against other top ladder players. Carl the Legend, who's one of the best Lava Loon players going around right now, the top of ladder. We want to kind of break down the different archetypes, and I want to provide you guys with the old school text guide to this deck, provided by KingTurk, who, by the way, is a Turkish pro living in Belgium right now. So big shout out, obviously, to my man KingTurk. Follow him on Twitter and stuff. All that will be linked in the description below. But I also want to provide that text guide that he provided me to you guys, just in case you're a visual learner who also likes kind of the text tips in front of you. Sometimes it's easier to digest them that way. So that will be in the description below, above the deck link. So look at the deck that we're going against here. Minor Poison Rascals, Skeleton Barrel. Seldom do you see Skeleton Barrel without the Mega Knights. You're almost waiting for that last card to be Mega Knight, but there's no way they'd be running Minor Mega Knight Rascals. At least I don't think they would, right? But again, we're staying aggressive in that left lane. And Fire Spirits, again, kind of touched down on that left tower, just chipping it away. Meanwhile, on defense, making easy work of it here with the Prince, and notably that he's playing Zap in this deck as well. So Inferno Tower, no big spell. No spell except for Zap, really, in this deck, right? So Inferno Tower, well, I guess Goblin Barrel's a spell, right? Goblin Barrel's a spell. Always throws me off, but an easy victory. The opponent has given up, guys. Wow, that's a way to start the video. Let's go ahead and break down the replays, and notice his new badge. New badge is pretty cool if you ask me. Alright guys, so I'm going to put on a replay here by, or against Vulcan, which should be really good to watch in the background, because on this first replay, I want to go ahead and share with you the 6 rules to playing this deck, and it really helps with all bait decks, but this deck specifically as told by my man KingTurk. So rule number 1 is always use your Fire Spirits or your Ice Spirit in front of your Prince. This is going to prevent an E-Wiz or even a Goblin Gang or a Minion Horde from taking down your Prince, because you can just hover the Zap as well against, for example, a Minion Horde if you use the Ice Spirit. Also, the Bandit Charge won't take care of him, so it will answer a bunch of the most popular counters to your Prince if you use your Ice Spirit or your Fire Spirits right in front of the Prince. You're going to see KingTurk do that a lot. Rule number 2, against 2.6 Hog Cycle. He tries to predict zap all these opponent's skeletons, because think about it, they're going to be using most of the time their skeletons in combination with the cannon to stop your Prince, so he'll predict zap. He says it works more often than you'd think. Rule number 3, if the opponent has log or bar barrel in cycle, he will always use Fire Spirits at the bridge and then a far exaggerated juke barrel. Basically, it's going to force the opponent to choose. Are they going to use the bar barrel, the log, against the goblin barrel and have to take contact from those Fire Spirits? Or are they, you can't hit them both, basically. Or are they going to use it against the Fire Spirits and then answer the goblin barrel with something else? It's a way to bait out 2 spells with 1 push, or force the opponent to take damage they'd rather not take, or play a card such as like a bandit or something on the goblin barrel. That way, you know, puts them in an awkward situation. You'll see him do that a lot. Number 4, he always defends his princess. That way the opponent has to spend more elixir, but never over defend. So basically he'll use one card defending the princess, but he's not going to go overboard and just unload, a goblin gang, then a prince, then, he's going to go ahead and take it, do his due diligence to at least try to protect her one time, okay? Number 5, against Golem, if the opponent drops a Golem, he always pressures the other lane with Prince. And we'll see that in just a moment against my man Bag, who should be coming back on the channel hopefully soon. And number 6, if you know the opponent has a minion horde for his prince, he will play the princess high to support the prince. So that's pretty basic, but as soon as you identify you're going against minion horde when you're playing this deck, of course you're going to be saving your princess for when you play your prince. That way she can go ahead along with zap, boom, one shot, one zap, minion horde down, and then your prince still has to be responded to. So those are his tips for the deck, by the way, guys. If you want to see this more often in terms of like the rules to the deck, I'll try to ask pro players. Some of them, of course, may be better at articulating a deck than others, but I really find these helpful, especially when KingTurk was able to provide them for this video. So here we go, going against Vulcan. Why did I go double time? Let's go back to single time here, because we're about 25-30 seconds here into overtime, and you can see things are pretty neck and neck here. He has the Inferno Tower kind of remaining against that Royal Giant. It gets a little bit of damage, but he does a good job of switching up his defense here against Vulcan. And this time the Prince does get a charge, but not before that Royal Giant gets a few hits on that right tower. So here it comes. Going to be a barrel in the left here. Vulcan responds with the Fire Spirits, but did you see that zap? Zapped away. Obviously KingTurk knew that he had the Fire Spirits in hand, and he hovered that zap right over that Goblin Barrel and immediately used the zap, taking care of the Fire Spirits, giving him a nice damage advantage. 971 remaining on the left tower, and again the Goblin is going to connect along with that Prince, and Prince is going to finish the job there, and KingTurk wins and eats some cake as well. Exchanging some emotes at the end are those two players. Let's watch the Golem matchup against Bag. Bag, obviously an incredibly good player, an incredibly good Golem beatdown player, and he has two responses to the Goblin Barrel in his deck. He's playing a Golem deck that has Barbarian Barrel. It also has Tornado. So let's see how we negotiate this matchup. They both exchanged their 20-win CRL emotes, and an emote that sadly I will never have. Is there an emote for the 15-win Earthquake Challenge? I'll take it, Supercell. I'm available. So a NATO here doesn't get the King Tower activation though by Bag, and he flashes the Goblin Fire emote here. And now early on, to 30 seconds in, I think it's safe to say that both players know what deck the other player is playing. Of course, Bag, being the student of ladder as he is, definitely knows what deck that KingTurk is running. So check that out, guys. We played the High Princess there to respond to the Baby Dragon, and now it looks like we're not even going to go ahead and support her. So I wonder if that was a mistake there by KingTurk playing that High Princess. She really got no value whatsoever, and then Bag goes ahead and responds with a Golem in the lane of the Prince, and the Baby Dragon's still kind of clinging on to life. So here Baby Dragon's going to be taken care of beforehand, but we can lean on the Inferno Tower, and that's the beauty of this deck, right? That's the beauty of running Inferno Tower in bait decks right now in the game, is that Golem beatdown or Giant beatdown, they can be difficult to contend with, especially if they have multiple spells. Pretty much as a bait player, every deck feels like they have more than one answer to Goblin Barrel, more than one counter, and that's part of the frustration that a lot of bait players feel in the game right now. So now we're going to go ahead and let this Princess clean up against this Night Witch. That's why I feel like when you run bait, if you're not having success with it, I would consider playing, and there was the prediction zap. He didn't get it that time, but he knew that he was running skeletons in the deck, so he predicted where the skeletons would normally be. Hey, it's only a 2 elixir prediction. If you don't get it, not the end of the world. If you do get it, it could be a tower down situation there. But yeah, back to the Inferno Tower. I think that you're better off running an Inferno Tower version of a bait deck. It doesn't have to be this one, but I think that when you have that Inferno Tower plus one kind of robust ground card, such as maybe Rascals or prince in this situation, that's really the best type of bait deck, in my opinion, right now in the game, in the meta. So a golem here again in the center of the arena near the river by Bag. That allows us to go ahead and open up with this high Inferno Tower. And of course he played it super high to avoid giving lightning value to Bag there. A really nice Inferno Tower despite that golem being very close by. And now we have the opposite lane princess cleaning up those golemites. And again, we're being aggressive with these fire spirits. Only 19, 18, 17 seconds remaining here in regulation time. So another match that's going to be going to overtime. After this match, I'll show you, we'll go Lava Loon after this one, I think. So many great options, though. We'll see, we'll see. So in Ice Spirit coming down with the Goblin Barrel, Ice Spirit runs into that nice King Tower activation there by Bag, but the Ice Spirit blocked by those skeletons, but we still get a decent amount of damage onto the left tower. Now we have a Golem push. We have a Golem push set up here. We have two princesses on the board. We have one princess in the right lane, one princess behind that left-hand tower. Inferno Tower doing a good job kind of cleaning up everything there in that push, and now we have two annoying princesses, one at the bridge on the right, one close to the bridge on the left here, engaging against that Baby Dragon. So Baby Dragon's going to run right into that Inferno Tower, which is nice, get extra value out of the Inferno Tower, and we're already one card away from Inferno Tower again here, so it's going to be easy defense. And again, we want to avoid that lightning value, so we have the very, very high Inferno Tower, again with the Prince and the Princess on defense, opposite lane, kind of cleaning up again. So again, we're going to use the Fire Spirits here, take care of that Night Witch. We have one bat on the tower, or would have made it to the tower, so we respond with the Goblin Gang as well there. Also going to help mitigate the damage done by those Golemites on our right tower. So here it comes again, a Mega Minion in the left lane, and it's going to be another aggressive Prince in the right here. And just like that, Bag is saving his Golem. He's not playing it in the back, and that's a smart move, right? We talked about that earlier about in the last match, in the last replay against Vulcan, that when they play the Golem in the back, it's almost game over with this deck if you go all in the opposite lane in double elixir time using your Prince, because they don't have a lot of good answers, especially when they don't have the Lumberjack version of a Golem deck. So check this out here, guys. Another defense off. How much value has he gotten out of his princesses in this match? It's really been incredible, and he's going to stay aggressive here. Fire Spirits in the left, Ice Spirit on the right. Ice Spirit makes contact. Fire Spirits go right into that Golem, and this time we get a Prince in the lane. Oh, the NATO. The NATO's not going to pull him back. Oh, no. We make a charge, and that's exactly what you want to do, guys. Pressure opposite lane when they drop the Golem. Good game. Good luck. That was an insane ending there. Bag, you know, you felt for him there. He thought, okay, I missed the pull with that Prince with the Golem, but, you know, the NATO, can that pull it back? But it didn't work out for my man. Didn't work out for Bag that time, but still, it's just textbook. You can see that even if we didn't win the match there, we would still be able to handle that matchup defensively just fine using the Prince, the Inferno Tower, and the Princess, and the Goblin Gang, despite the fact that they had Lightning as well. So let's go ahead and show you how to handle Lava Loon, because this deck is, I mean, aside from the Princess, obviously, the Spirit Goblins and the Goblin Gang, and let's see, I have so many replays right now, guys. I apologize. Ooh, one against Big, hey, Big Oof, Big Alf, I apologize to you, man. I butchered your name the last time that you were on the channel. I called you Big Out, like a big noob, Ash. Apologies, my brother. Apologies. He tweeted at me, and he's like, dude, really? So anyway, Carl the Legend at the top here. Carl has been so hot with Lava Loon, with Lava Hound, and the way that KingTurk is able to handle this matchup, it bears noting. It's worth sharing this replay because he plays it a little bit differently in terms of his Inferno Tower locations and his aggressiveness, especially right here demonstrated with the Fire Spirits getting rid of that Tombstone. So here comes the first Lava Hound. Let's see what he does. He goes same lane with the Princess against the Lava Hound, and this is going to be, you know, textbook how to handle a Lava Hound push in the first 2 minutes. Inferno Tower, boom, preemptively at the river there, at the bridge. It forces a balloon early out of the opponent, and now we have a full health Lava Hound. We don't have the Inferno Tower back, but we can just kite whatever they throw, even if they didn't use a Mega Minion there. Maybe if they used regular minions, we could Ice Spirit Zap. We basically could respond to anything he was going to support after he had the balloon out of cycle, and we could respond to anything that he was going to support that Lava Hound with. Now we have Barbarians in the left lane. We're going to go ahead and just use a Princess and an Ice Spirit. Nice, efficient defense here in the first minute and a quarter or so by KingTurk. And it's noteworthy, he hasn't even gone aggressive at all yet. He didn't see the Lava Hound and immediately like go all in the opposite lane. Nah, he went same lane with the Princess, and he kind of set things up defensively with the Inferno Tower, and he was able to defend, not taking a ton of damage without even going on offense. So Fireball came down on the Princess a few seconds ago, and now we're going to go ahead and let's see what he does here. We know that Tombstone's in cycle for the opponent. It looks like they're going to go ahead and just respond with a Mega Minion to our Goblin Gang. Nice job there. And we still have about a 1 or 1.5 elixir advantage here as we approach double elixir time just 10 seconds away. So here it goes again. An Ice Spirit in front of the Prince, just like we talked about. We're hovering Zap. Zap is down. He has Barbarians, but we're going to force Barbarians out of Carl's hand. And again, Carl's a beast with this deck, so, you know, you couldn't really be finding many other players of this caliber right now in terms of how hot they are on ladder than Carl to go against to provide a template against this matchup. So now we're going all in here, and see how what he did there? He went in with the Ice Spirit, with the Fire Spirits, and the Prince in the opposite lane there, and now the Prince is going to be able to clean up very nicely here on defense, again in the left. And again, it's going to be a Lava Hound in the left as well. Barbarians down to respond to that Goblin Barrel and the Goblin Gang in the left-hand side, and now we have the Inferno Tower ready again high. Now check out this push in the right. We don't have Rocket in our deck here, but we do have Fire Spirits and another Princess at the ready, able to really avoid any damage from that balloon aside from the death damage there. 10 seconds remaining in the match. Very well played there. I mean, Fire Spirit value. That was like the perfect illustration of the value of Fire Spirits. A balloon and a couple Barbarians heading down the right lane. We don't have Inferno Tower in hand. No big deal. Ice Spirit, Fire Spirits, Princess, push, dead. That's it, right? It was easy. And speaking of easy, now we had that great connection there with a Prince again, leaning on the Fire Spirits to take care of the skeletons from the Tombstone. Very well played. And check it out on defense here. We have the Fireball coming down. We have another Goblin Barrel in hand. Now that the Fireball is out of hand, we zap Goblin Barrel at the end to pick up the victory. And there it is, the good game, the good luck. I mean, just really, really well done textbook on these matchups. Here, guys, let's do one more here against Black Panther, who is Bob the Rock, one of my favorite players out there, and he's playing a little bit of a strange deck himself. So let's watch this matchup and see how he does here. I'm just going to go double speed in the first 2 minutes here. Let me know. It's a Royal Giant Lumberjack deck, by the way, if you can't tell already. And we saw the Lumberjack deck, or excuse me, we saw the Royal Giant deck against Vulcan, but we haven't seen this version of it, the more traditional version, I guess, with the Furnace and the E-Wiz, right? This version does have Lumberjack as well. So Furnace is down, and let's see how he contends. Of course, saving Prince for the Royal Giant, saving the Prince or the Inferno Tower for the Royal Giant. I mean, Captain Obvious here, but it's going to be paramount in this matchup. So here comes Bar Barrel down on our Goblin Barrel, and then Fire Spirit's cleaning up again, keeping that Princess alive, but we're not going to over-defend the Princess. We're just going to go ahead and kite that baby dragon to the opposite lane. Prince is going to go ahead and make contact with that E-Wiz. A nice value Prince there. We have about a 1 or so elixir advantage here, so we're going to go ahead and try to capitalize on that. We go in on the right, Bar Barrel able to cycle back to by Black Panther, and again, kiting that Lumberjack all the way to the opposite lane as we enter into double elixir time. 45 seconds left. Now check this out. There it is again, guys. That big Prince Goblin Barrel push, and he's relentless, coming in with Fire Spirits behind the Prince as well. And then we go ahead and we force a Lumberjack out of the opponent. Now notice one thing about Black Panther here, right? He hasn't been able to even use his Royal Giant here because we're staying so aggressive. And again, the Prince and the super juke barrel way in the back, and he misses it, and this time forcing again an E-Wiz out of his hand. And we have a Princess, meanwhile, aggressive in the right lane. We have another Princess in the right lane behind that first Princess. We zap the Fire Spirits out of the Furnace. We force out a Mega Minion out of the opponent's hand. And again, a big aggressive push in the left lane. It's an Ice Spirit, it's a Fire Spirit, it's a Prince. He's going to go ahead and run right into that Furnace. And now he's getting dangerously close to that tower. Thankfully, the raged up Baby Dragon able to come through for Black Panther there. 10 seconds into sudden death overtime. And look at the damage right now, guys. We're actually at a damage deficit here in this match, but check this out. Furnace is down. We have the Ice Spirit again leading the way for the Prince there. Prince is going to go ahead and take down that furnace and then take down most of the HP off of that lumberjack. So we're going to go ahead and use a goblin gang there, another baby dragon. These are annoying baby dragons everywhere in this match. And now we get a little bit of chip damage in the left lane, and again an aggressive fire spirit there in the left lane as well. They all make contact, taking the tower all the way down to 10-15, but look at the right tower, down to 9-12. Again, the Prince being the heavy hitter in this deck, along with the goblin barrel, just used to kind of annoy the opponent. And again, a nice goblin gang there, able to keep both of the princesses alive. Bar barrel in hand for Black Panther, but does he want to use it on 2 princesses? Well, luckily he doesn't need to, because baby dragon is going to go ahead and finish them off. Now we have a Prince in the left. We force a furnace out of the opponent there in the left. Prince is not going to get a hit on the left tower. Meanwhile, we take a little bit of damage on the right tower. 145 remaining in this match. We get a little bit extra chip damage from the goblin gang. Meanwhile, the fire spirits in the left lane, it's crazy. Look at the pressure. Look at this pace. Look at the tempo of this match. We have a princess in the left tower and just narrowly avoiding having that Prince make a contact with that left tower as well, but it's down to 403 HP halfway through sudden death overtime. And again, princess opposite lane, fire spirits keeping pressure on the right lane. Now finally a royal giant being played by Black Panther here, and we have the Inferno Tower down. Ice Bird's gonna go ahead and buy some extra time, and then we use that. Look at that bar barrel prediction, but not in time there. At the very last second, Princess finishes off that right tower. So a huge shout out again to my man KingTurk. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, let me know. What do you think of the format? We did one live match, we did the rules, the 6 rules for the deck, and then we kind of did a few great replays against really great players playing popular meta decks. So let me know if you like this format for future top ladder live series, or do you just prefer it all like 100% live? Let me know in the comments below, guys. I really value your feedback as always. A huge shout out to, again, KingTurk. Check out his player stats and information along with his Twitter information in the show notes below. And a huge shout out to Bren Chong, my YouTube partner. Check out his information as well. Thank you for watching, guys. And as always, take care, guys.